So lovely, good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. Today, the 9th of November 2021. To present the news, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news: UNZA students protest demanding the dismissal of the Vice-Chancellor. The 35-year-old man of Lusaka dragged to court for incest with his daughter. Zambians evacuated from Ethiopia as tensions escalate. In international news, West Africa has become a transit hub for drug trafficking. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO intensified training for Saturday World Cup clash.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome once again. Another news in detail. Minister of Information and Media Chushi Kasanda has expressed concern over low salaries and poor conditions of journalists in some media houses that are subjected to. Speaking when Zambia Media Women Association paid her a courtesy call Tuesday, Ms. Kasanda described the situation as unacceptable and disappointing, to note that some media institutions are paying journalists as low as 900 kwacha per month. She explains that journalists play a very important role in society and must be given the respect and dignity they deserve. Meanwhile, she has called for a meeting with media owners in order to establish the issue. University of Zambia students took to the streets Tuesday due to a go-slow at the institution by lecturers despite examinations set to begin on Monday, the 15th of November 2021. The students who attempted to march to State House to air their grievances were, however, stopped by police. They have cited negligence from university management, stating that they have gone mute despite various calls to be addressed over matters arising at the institution. More in this report.
University of Zambia students took to the streets Tuesday morning to express their displeasure over various issues pertaining at the institution. They have highlighted the go-slow by the lecturers, which has resulted in them not learning despite the examination scheduled to begin on Monday, 15th November 2021. The students add that the lecture theatres and library have been locked up, meaning they have nowhere to study from. They are also protesting against the scheduled maintenance by the power utility company ZESCO, scheduled for 12th to 14th November 2021 in some parts of Lusaka, saying it will further inconvenience their studies.
The second thing is that all lecture theatres from the School of Education and Health schools have been closed. Why? Because the lecturers are on go-slow. They are protesting because of non-payment of salaries and their gratuities. So all we are appealing to is that the government should come on board, pay our lecturers so that learning can proceed as it is supposed to be.
Yesterday we saw a memo circulating on social media that actually there will be power cuts in certain places within Lusaka, and UNZA is one of those places, and there will be this power cut from Friday up to Sunday. Now imagine that on Monday we are starting exams. Where are we going to study from? And the other issue that you need to know is that the UNZA hostels, all the UNZA hostels have many issues. We have poor sanitation, so imagine if there will be no water. Where are the students going to wash their clothes from? Where are they going, students going to get to fetch water from? So these are the some of the issues as to why we are protesting as of today.
We want each and every student to have a fair trial to the examination, not because of money, but because of other issues. Let them write the exams if at all they are willing and they've studied for it. We also have issues where they are locking the library and they haven't paid lecturers on time. We want our lecturers to be paid on time and the exam to be flexible. We want to pass and not be labeled for failure.
However, Area Member of Parliament Mr. Mike Mposha has reassured the students, saying he will engage the Ministry of Education. Minister of Education Mr. Douglas Yakalima is away in France on ministerial duty.
I will convey the message to the Minister of Education and also the Minister of Energy. Because the issues that have been brought out depending, blackout, because how will the students study if they are going to be in the blackout? So I want to discuss this with the Minister of Education, Energy, but also the Minister of Education. I'm hoping that if both of them are around, we should be able to convene a meeting with the union this evening and try to see how we can iron out these issues. But obviously, we want the situation to return to normal so that the students can go back to their studies and possibly sit for their exams. We don't want the exams to be disturbed.
The aggrieved UNZA students also took the opportunity to show the area member of parliament, who is also Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, the deplorable state of sanitation at the institution as the place is filled with sewer spillages. He has since promised to ensure that sanitation is restored at the institution. While the students have agreed that taking to the streets is not the best alternative, they allege that university management does not address them when they seek audience and have since demanded for their removal. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Professional Teachers Union of Zambia Pro-2's Secretary General Kangwa Musenga has called on the Anti-Corruption Commission SEC and other law enforcement wings to take a keen interest in the matter where over 1,000 teachers are alleged to have been given fake appointment letters into the civil service. A group representing the teachers have camped at the Ministry of Education awaiting the return of the Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima from a ministerial journey in France on Saturday. They have been advocating to be put on payroll, stating that they were given appointment letters stamped and approved by the Ministry of General Education, but have not been on the payroll since deployment. Details in this report.
Revelations by the Teaching Service Commission that about 1,500 teachers deployed into the civil service have fake appointment letters have alarmed various stakeholders. A group of 3,000 teachers have been in the media for over 1 year now, advocating to be put on payroll. While presenting their appointment letters, the teachers say the letters were stamped and verified by the Ministry of Education. Some allege that they have been working since September 2020 with no salary. Professional Teachers Union of Zambia Pro-2's General Secretary Mr. Kangwa Musenga has called on the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC and the Zambia Police to take an interest in the matter. He has also called for transparency in the deployment of 30,000 teachers that government plans to recruit in 2022.
We are not too sure that the Ministry of Education was also deploying, and the Teaching Service Commission was also deploying. So there is no way they can start washing, the Teaching Service Commission can start washing linen, dirty linen in public. This is a serious administrative issue, and the Minister should take a keen interest in cleaning the Ministry of Education. The police and the Anti-Corruption Commission should take keen interest in this. I would even suggest that the two departments are being accused of these activities which are now undermining the credibility of the Ministry of Education, the credibility of education. We need to see a clean management to deal with the teaching fraternity. Otherwise, we are going to have a highly compromised education system in the country.
Alliance for Accountability Advocates Zambia Executive Director Mr. Luchembe Chilufya says the matter is alarming as it makes deployments made highly questionable.
If people are found with letters with date stamps on them and others even on payroll, there must be someone behind getting something behind those people that have been given those letters. So indeed, there is need to investigate thoroughly and bring this issue to an end. We don't need to continue entertaining such irregularities. And to make matters worse, these are teachers, people who are going to be impacting knowledge on the Zambian people. So if they get in the system dubiously, we don't even know whether they are fully qualified to provide such services.
For now, all stakeholders are waiting to see how the matter will be handled by the Ministry of Education under the new administration. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Several traders at the Lusaka City Market have expressed concern over the discharge of waste into the drainage by Zambian Oriental Investment Limited. Those who spoke to Camnet News are disappointed over the negligence being exhibited by the firm. They have since called on the Lusaka City Council to help bring sanity to the area. We have more in the following report.
Sanitation is more than just toilets. It includes the facilities, behaviors, and services that prevent diseases caused by contact with human waste. Several traders at the city market have raised concern over the discharge of waste by Zambian Oriental Investment Limited. The act has been ongoing for over a year, and the firm has been disposing waste into the drainage. The spillage, which is believed to have been coming from the manufacturing of a local drink called Chiwanto. Sadly, due to the same activities, drainage systems have been blocked. In an interview with Camnet News, the traders say the blockage in the drainage system will contribute to the number of diarrhea diseases which are already on the rise in the country.
Chibapanga balibe disposal kwinangu kwekuyenda vima west vao vibwera kuno kwetisevenzera kwetitira operate ise tilibe kwinangu kwetitira operate ni place ya mene ino so uja weyapanga Chiwanto kuja madam tipempa kuli boma kuti ilanganilepo ititandize uja muntu azibe way of disposal ivi bintu ve asili la vibwera kulise vitichita affect vinuka maningi
ngati bakangiwa wachokemo munde because watika stagnation basungira bana penunka every day tukirino but manzi kutuka no yayi lero yapatingena mnesizo tikapale sabe babwani kirina but penunka boma chabe bwino but webe baja government is chemushe but baja ndio wapanga mistake. Why?
The residents have since called on the local authority to inspect the place.
Nice, makiniko drainage tulokumbuyo konse kuli doti party senda next time corona vifuba vimfini bantu wa matenda kolera kuna stingala
katibakanga business ja
steko kwinango boss
because it has got nowhere to go. It's getting stuck, and we have been getting the numbers from the hospitals which are saying typhoid is rising up in this community, and there is diarrhea which is still coming in, and the rain season is onset. So we want the authority, the health people, to look into this matter and to advise these people how to do to expose their things out, because there are a lot of people here and we are looking on the safety of people. So we appeal to the authority in charge of this to take full responsibility for the health of people. It is very costly for the government to start treating people, but it's better.
Efforts to get a comment from the company proved futile by broadcast time.
City Council, because I have seen what is outside. I'm going straight to the Lusaka City Council and
so listen, my boss is not around. Okay, let me call it. You can wait.
If you can give me your boss number.
Just give him your number, then he can call your boss, then your boss can be on the phone while on the news.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Foundation for Democratic Process, FODEP, has charged that the Zambia Police and the Lusaka City Council are not doing enough to curb lawlessness in markets and bus stations. FODEP Executive Director George Chimembe is disappointed that despite the United Party for National Development proclaiming to be the government of laws, the two institutions have not done enough to ensure of violence and levying of citizens by some political persons have continued even after authorities being given autonomy in their operations.
Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has on many occasions indicated that he wants to govern by the rule of law. He has vowed zero tolerance to cadreism and implored the police to fulfill its mandate of protecting life and property, as well as maintaining law and order. However, more needs to be done in markets and bus stations as political victimization have been experienced in the recent past. Some cases are currently before the courts of law, others are nursing injuries.
And Muriranduba pulled me or pushed me, saying I should not be talking to their commander as they had put it. So I was trying to engage them to say I did not follow them or was not talking to them. I started receiving punches, and then other cadres joined in saying no, do pusa, do PF and everything. And
Foundation for Democratic Process, FODEP Executive Director George Chimembe, says the police must help the UPND administration in fulfilling its commitment to ensuring the rule of law.
These entities will wait for Plot 1 or State House to give directions, or Cabinet to give directions. The directions are already there. The law is already there. And, you know, there has been this political will that has been demonstrated by the Republican president that, look, you police, the police service, can you be professional? Can you be autonomous? Can you serve the interest of the people? You know, and it's up to the IG and his men to take that space, you know, that has now been opened up and given to him. And he shouldn't be waiting for State House, for orders from the minister and all that. I think they need to be more proactive in the way they tackle these issues.
On the other hand, the Lusaka City Council has been given the mandate to run bus stations, but the question that begs answers include, but not limited to, the following. Who manages some legal and illegal bus stations like the one at Stanley Bar, especially at night when the council workers are resting at home? What about the Kamwala bus station by downtown and the one behind Levy Mall, among many others? Mr. Chimembe reminds the local authority to be proactive and not reactive in curbing lawlessness.
I think the council should not be crying foul over poor funding, because if they just go to Intercity, you know, bus terminus, there's a lot of money there. They can collect that money. They go into the markets, you know, they will collect money there. They don't have to wait for instructions. They will just have to use the law, which is already there. They are proactive and they will start getting the revenues. Full stop.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
President Hakainde Hichilema has revealed that the Zambian government has safely evacuated Zambian citizens from Ethiopia. Ethiopia has been experiencing a civil war since 2020, with the epicenter being Tigray region arising from an internal leadership dispute. The head of state has called on the African Union and the United Nations to work with the Ethiopian authorities to quickly address the situation in that country. He has expressed government's commitment to ensuring that all Zambian citizens are safely evacuated from places where there is conflict. Concerned citizens have questioned the procedure used to grant land plot number 1249 to a foreign national on the Zambia Air Force airport area premises in Lusaka, saying it threatens the security of the country. Lovewell Goma, former Army Warrant Officer of Lusaka, has tipped Camnet News, alleging that the controversial land was sold to Yusuf Valley by then officer in charge Njamba Edwin, who did not follow legal procedure considering the security factors. He has since appealed to President Hakainde Hichilema and the investigative wings to take interest and intervene to avoid compromising national security. More in the following report.
Seated on 11.6 hectares sized land, this controversial piece of land has attracted attention from concerned citizens who have questioned the allocation procedures followed by authorities in the previous administration to grant it to a foreign national, considering that the land shares borders with the air transmitter Zambia Air Force area in Lusaka. According to available documents, this land was sold to Yusuf Valley by the late Edwin Njamba, who was in the military force, alleged to have used dubious means to reach such a transaction. Concerned citizens who have followed up this case from authorities, including the National Courts of Law, have questioned the procedure used to grant this huge piece of land to a foreigner, citing the national security which might be compromised. Plot number 1249 is right adjacent to air transmitter, a territory under normal circumstance is restricted to Zambia Air Force. Mr. Lovewell Goma, a retired Army Warrant Officer of Lusaka, has told this journalist that he has questioned the reasoning behind the land allocation procedure followed by authorities then.
Other direction. Now, being a Zambian person, I'm so much concerned. I want the government, the new Don government, to look into it. My complaint, is it genuine? Is it genuine complaint? Because I'm concerned. Suppose war breaks when they capture airport. They capture ZAF, they capture army. The next time they will capture the state house. Because the airport is where we can order equipment to come and support us. Now, if the airport is captured, the foreigner now is getting information, the radar is jammed, communication is jammed. to whom are we going to speak to the world leaders to help us? Because the country has been captured. So I'm urging the new Dawn government to look into it. I've got all documentation. The person who sold this land was in Jamba and he...
Mr. Goma adds that there should be a clear explanation to this development.
When they started building, I grabbed this certificate from him. I said, bring this, I want to be evidenced. I got this, that's why I got this certificate from him. Okay. Yes, I got it. And I reported this, first I reported this to a former Army Air Commander. I went to see AA. And from there I went to Army, I went to see the Adjutant General that time. And nothing tangible answer were given to me. I said, I've got evidence enough, I've got papers for this. And I think I even photocopied and gave them for copies of the Air Force. Even when I came back from Lundazi, I was in Lundazi. When I came, I said, this issue now, we have got new Dawn government who are concerned about this country. Let me go and report again. Instead of going direct to the president, I have no access to go to the president. Who is going to allow me?
And Mr. Kubanja has added, saying that in as much as the land can be legally acquired under previous regime, it does not justify the fact that the land is strategically obstruction to state security, especially that it is in the hands of a foreign citizen.
This is unacceptable. So we are appealing even to the SCC to come quickly and investigate this issue. This is a serious issue. If you want to talk, if you are talking about corruption, this is corruption. Let them come and investigate. This is real now. This is real corruption. Why should they be quiet? And the complainant here, as a Zambian citizen, he has complained through the offices. Army commander, and he has complained, but nothing. Then this is a new government, and the president, the current president now, he want to deal with corruption. This is corruption already. So let them come.
However, cause for President Hichilema and authorities' interventions is what these concerned citizens appeals for. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Government has started paying off all civil servants who had their salaries for the month of September and October 2021 affected by the debt swap initiative. The Agriculture, Technical and Professional Staff Union of Zambia has confirmed that its members have received their dues and have thanked the government for keeping their promise. Union President Oliver Chingobe tells Camnet News that the step taken by government to pay back the affected civil servants will help solve many problems that have been created due to government's decision to rescind its decision on the debt swap initiative. Prudence Chota reports.
There was an outcry by the civil servants who were affected by the government's decision to recover the debt swap loans from their salaries for the months of September and October 2021.
Public service microfinance has appeared on the payslip. Now the question is, in what form are they appearing on the payslip?
We want to appeal to the government, even as it has stated that this is the government, the UPN government is the government of law, and that they should respect the collective agreement that has been signed with civil servants, so that the matter is settled once and for all.
While the affected civil servants have expressed their displeasure over how the new government has handled the debt swap initiative, government, on the other hand, promised that it was going to refund all civil servants that were affected by the deductions before their November salaries can be credited.
A listening government has already signed with the unions that the recoveries for the 2 months will be paid back.
Agriculture, Technology and Professional Staff Union of Zambia and the National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, have confirmed to Camnet News that government has credited back what was deducted from their members' salaries.
Yeah, I want to confirm that I've received reports from our members across the country that they have started receiving monies which were deducted in October month end by a public service microfinance company. We want to appreciate the government for keeping its position. We know that this is according to the agreement that was signed between the government and the labor movement, that these monies will be paid back before the November salaries are effective.
It has since appealed to government to engage the unions in matters that affect their members before any decision can be taken.
Going forward, we just want to appeal to the government to always involve the unions in the matters pertaining the employees, so that even us as the labor movement, we can represent our members prudently and intelligently.
For now, we will continue to monitor how the debt swap initiative will be tabled by the government going forward. Reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Spirit of infirmity never had a legal right in here anymore because she was healed in her soul. He also took care of that accusation in the court where he said, I loose you, and that means to acquit someone of a crime.
Why does he say, be strong and be courageous, Bamutale? Number one, you've got to be strong. You've got to be courageous when claiming the things that belong to you.
If you're up against principalities and powers,
en contra de
and Satan
principados
is knocking you around,
y el enemigo te está dando contra ti,
put praise on in your car.
pon alabanza.
Put praise on.
So we must learn to depend on the Holy Spirit to tell us what these things are and what's the next thing and what the church ought to be doing, rather than conform to everything that is going on.
He says you're blessed. He says flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father.
He will preach the gospel with great power and influence, I say, even to the nations of the earth. And I began to prophesy his destiny. As I did that, the Spirit of the Lord said, now rebuke the spirit of depression.
The mystery of your unfulfilled prophecy is found in what I'm saying today, if you hear what the Spirit is saying, because the King is speaking.
That everything that God has given you will flourish because you have his mind like never before, in Jesus' mighty precious name.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all three tiers. the state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lesotho, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed, and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. A 35-year-old man of Lusaka has been dragged to court for allegedly having carnal knowledge of his biological daughter. In this matter, Ocean Hamulonga has been slapped with 1 count of incest, contrary to Section 159, Cap 1 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. It is alleged that on dates unknown but between 31st March and 30th September 2021, Hamulonga has been having sexual intercourse with his daughter against the order of nature. The accused is expected to appear back in court soon. Several witnesses, including the wife of late veterinary doctor Evans Mwapemwengwe, have testified before the Lusaka High Court that they found his body partially burned after conducting a search. This is in a matter in which 4 Lusaka residents, among them a 23-year-old female student, are accused of murdering Dr. Evans Mwengwe after he offered them a lift from Kawe to Lusaka. When the matter came before the court for commencement of trial, brother to the late Ignatius Mwengwe testified that Dr. Mwengwe's body was found partially burnt on the chest and some documents were burnt off his back as well. More in this report.
They are being laid to the prison holding cells after the court adjourned their murder case to another date for continued trial. These 4 Lusaka residents, among them a 23-year-old female student, are accused of murdering a veterinary doctor, Evans Mwengwe, between the 10th and 12th June 2021 after he offered them a lift from Kawe to Lusaka. Doris Ndumba of Lusaka's Ibex Hill area has been jointly charged with Kenan Jerry, Kegan Zulu and Joseph Tembo with 1 count of murder and aggravated robbery. The 4 accused persons are aged between 42 and 23. They are also alleged to have stolen the deceased phone, Mac laptop, 2 bags of maize, and a Mercedes-Benz. Earlier, when trial commenced before a High Court judge, several witnesses, including wife to the late, testified that her husband had traveled to Serenge on the 30th of May 2021, and on the 10th of June, he had called to inform her that he was coming back to Lusaka. Full of sorrow, Cecilia Mwengwe further told the court that she was shocked the following day that her husband never came home and his phone was off, hence decided to report a case of a missing person before the police. She had earlier testified that late that night, when she decided to call her husband, his phone was off, hence told the children to pray for the safety of their father. Little did they know that he was no more. Another witness who testified was the brother to the victim, who informed the court that the victim's body was found partially burnt on the chest and some documents were burnt on his back. Also that a shoelace was found around his neck, believed to have been used to strangle him. Other testimony that the court heard was that his Mercedes-Benz was dismantled and some parts were sold to car dealers by the accused persons in Lusaka. Trial in the case continues before court. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A Lusaka lawyer has been dragged to the Lusaka Magistrate Court for allegedly beating up someone. In this matter, Boniface Kafwimba, 40, has been charged with 1 count of assault, contrary to Section 248 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. Allegations are that Mr. Kafwimbe, on the 13th of October 2021, assaulted Komani Mbale, thereby causing him actual bodily harm. The accused is expected to take a plea before Lusaka magistrate Felix Kaoma this week. The Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance CSO-SAN has expressed concern that the 2022 national budget does not reflect much on the implementation of nutrition programs in the country. CSO-SAN Country Coordinator Matthew Zimuhuru has noted that the Minister of Finance did not address the school feeding program in the budget, which he said is crucial in improving nutrition. Meanwhile, Mr. Muhuru has further appealed to the government to address the issue of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, that pose a danger to citizens' well-being.
The school feeding program, and surprisingly, the past 3-4 years, when the ministers of finance will be presenting the budget in parliament, in their budget speech, one of the cornerstones of nutrition that they'll keep on mentioning is the school feeding program. But surprisingly, this year, the Honorable Minister, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, did not even mention the school feeding program at all. So that has been silent. If you go to the Yellow Book itself, you try to check for budget lines that speak to the school feeding program, they are all silent. So we wonder whether government still plans to continue with the school feeding program. And moreover, what is also quite scary is the fact that other cooperating partners that were financing or were supporting government with finances to run the school feeding program, like the World Food Program, have withdrawn the support that they were giving, and they're giving more technical support rather than the monetary support. And look at some of the funders of the National Biosafety Authority would realize that these are same people that are championing the GMOs. So there's that organized. So I think at the end of the day, government has to be strong on this, and they really have to put the needs of the people first, because even with GMOs, one thing that is known is the fact that you are conditioning farmers. Imagine the GMO maize. You plant your maize today, when you harvest, you cannot replant that maize because you have to go back and pay the people that are producing these GMO seeds. But with your old seeds, you would replant 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 years you're just replanting this same food and you're consuming it. So it's quite scary when you're opening up the market to GMOs. And not so long ago we found some GMO seed that were in the country in some warehouse, which is very scary. So it might show you also that we have quite a lot of GM activities that are happening in the country, even when we don't have laws that allow for GMO seeds, but GMO foods, you have
themselves in the country.
They still find themselves in the country.
We have a GMO clinic.
Government has awarded some diplomatic corps who performed exceptionally well at the recently held Diplomatic Fanfare on the 23rd of October 2021 in Lusaka. Speaking when he presented the awards, Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba says showcasing Zambia's culture to the outside world will encourage tourist inflows. The minister says Zambia must take advantage of the diplomatic relations it has with various countries to market the country. Mr. Sikumba says government is working at ensuring that the diplomatic fanfare becomes an annual event to allow other countries to be given ample time to showcase their rich cultures.
Goes to the best food stand, and this prize goes to the Embassy of Angola. As per usual, I'm sure you all know how our colleagues from India, they're always dressed up in their silk attires, and the dances are always exquisite. Thank you so much. This time around, Your Excellencies, we want to ensure that you have a lot of time to prepare, a lot of time to be able to put together a fantastic event that will now culminate into one of the biggest cultural fanfare that we'll have in Zambia. My ministry, the Ministry of Tourism, is a ministry that presides over culture within this country. And I must make mention, Your Excellencies, that culture in itself is what is key to a specific country. Some of us may not be able to go to Angola, some of us may not be able to go to India, but if India is brought to Zambia, then that Zambian will have an appetite to actually visit those particular countries.
State-owned telecommunications company ZAMTEL has apologized for the disruption of voice, data and mobile money services experienced by its customers on Monday, November 8, 2021 between 17:30 hours and 22:50 hours. ZAMTEL Corporate Communications Manager Changwe Kabwe says the disruption unexpectedly occurred due to the ongoing upgrade of their online charging system. He explains that works are scheduled to be completed by end of December 2021, adding that some selected services have since been restored while engineers continue to work around the clock to get to full service restoration. You're watching Camnet TV News. We'll take another break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the
She has so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from ZAMTEL. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. ZAMTEL, your digital lifestyle partner.
This is the Rusitu irrigation project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed, and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. And in international news, members of the public arrived to a polling station in Tripoli to collect the voter cards they will need to cast their ballots in the presidential and legislative elections planned in Libya for December 24. Meanwhile, Portuguese authorities have detained 10 suspects as part of an investigation into an alleged network of trafficking of diamonds, gold, drugs and weapons from Africa by Portuguese troops on mission. The police conducted over 100 searches in military facilities and private homes, both in mainland Portugal and the island of Madeira. Here's a roundup of international news.
This once feared warlord during Liberia's decade-long civil war says he's now fighting a drug epidemic. He's my pops, says this man. I would kill for him. In these ghettos in the capital Monrovia, the children who once fought for him have now grown into gang members and drug addicts. They call him General Butt Naked because he fought without clothes alongside children hooked on drugs he provided. Before going into battle, Blai says he and his army of child soldiers ate the hearts of children they'd captured.
I'm looking for G Money. Yeah. G Money promised me that he would give me 20 children under the age of 15.
For what purpose, asks this man.
The enemy is attacking the most brilliant children. That's why you see this. That's why I'm worried. The nation is going to be strangulated if we don't rescue these guys.
The enemy he refers to are drug lords in Monrovia. We're told to leave and that gangs are after us. The UN says Liberia is among several West African countries used as transit hubs for cocaine and heroin coming from Latin America and Asian countries to European markets. The next day we meet Blai at his home. In his backyard are barracks for the teenagers he's picked off the streets. They say Nigerian gang members are distributing drugs in the ghettos, hooking children on heroin or pharmaceuticals like the painkiller Tramadol.
I want to become a lawmaker because no one will talk for us in the House of Representatives. We are vulnerable on the streets, smoking drugs. I want to become a lawmaker to protect my friends.
Blai has admitted to the country's Truth and Reconciliation Commission that he's responsible for the killings of more than 20,000 people during the Civil War. Now he says he's these children's protector.
The work that the former warlord Joshua Blai has done with street children has attracted public sympathy and has protected him, in effect, from public prosecution, despite the recommendations made by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Blai says protecting children is a way for him to repent for his past crimes.
I think what I did was wrong, and there is no excuse for it. And me and others who did this should pay for it. But as I'm waiting for justice, I want to be giving back.
For this former warlord, Liberia has become the front line of a drug war it cannot afford to lose. He says it's a battle he will fight out of responsibility and guilt for his past crimes and for his country. Statements that few here are in a position to challenge. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Monrovia.
Millions of Libyans began Monday to collect their voters' card in various electoral commission offices across the country. More than 2.8 million of Libya's 7 million residents have registered to vote in the upcoming general elections. Both presidential and parliamentary elections are slated for December 24, but in early October, Parliament split the days of the vote by postponing legislative elections until January. All Libyans should come to vote. How can we build Libya? We need to build Libya with elections, and God willing, the election will take place on time. It's expected. God willing, it will go well and be a good introduction to a new Libya. Today, I received the election card with the grace of God, and of course, we hope that we can agree in our country and even elect the right person. Foreign powers have been pushing hard for both elections to be still held on the same date as agreed at UN-led talks last year. The international powers have been pushing for elections as a key part of a roadmap out of years of violence between an array of Libyan and foreign armed groups.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO coach Beston Chambishi has called on his squad to approach this weekend's 2022 Qatar World Cup qualifier match against Mauritania with the aim of finishing the race on a strong note. Chambeshi believes getting Saturday's home win over the Al Marabutan of Mauritania will set the tone for Zambia's final Group B qualifier against leaders Tunisia on the 16th of November. The CHIPOLOPOLO will be missing the services of Sweden-based forward Edward Chilofya, who has been ruled out of the back-to-back qualifiers, with Russia-based Klings Kangwa earning a late call-up in his place.
This is the big week for us, and the team is putting in a lot into training. Everyone is working, and we are just waiting for our foreign players to come in. Then we will forward. But otherwise, we are focused, and we need this game very much. We want to finish on the good note. You know, every game is important, whether a friendly game, and for that matter, this is a World Cup qualifier. Again, as you know, we are building the team and we are working at the coordination of the team. So it's an important game for us, even for the boys, so that we finish, as I said, on the good note on the table. We miss Edward. He's a good player, a fast winger, and thank you Kizri Kangwa, who has been playing well at his best, which is good for us and good for the take-on staff. Otherwise, we have a replacement on Edward Chilofya. Well, as at now, we are just waiting for the foreign players. I can assure you by the end of the day, maybe we have 2 or 3 players. We need them to be in as quickly as possible so that we start now preparing the team to Saturday's game.
As we end the news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines again. UNZA students protest demanding the dismissal of the Vice-Chancellor. A 35-year-old man of Lusaka dragged to court for incest with his daughter. Zambians evacuated from Ethiopia as tensions escalate. In international news, West Africa has become a transit hub for drug trafficking. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO intensify training for Saturday World Cup clash. The Camnet word verse of the day is coming from the book of Ephesians 3, verse 20 to 21. Now to him who is able to do above and beyond all that we ask or think according to the power that works in us, to him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus to all generations, forever and ever. Amen. My name is Jeffrey Zambians. Thanks for watching Camnet TV Main News. Bye-bye.